guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to create this smoky glam right here. There's a few mistakes that I made along the way which makes it a little bit more complicated, but I teach you how to reverse those as well. If you want to learn how to get this look, then keep on watching. Let's zoom in so we can start our brows. Use this hair wax, which I get it from across the road at the barber shop. What I'm gonna do is kind of devour the brows in this gel and make it look messy like that. We want to get the gel all up in there in the roots of the hairs to make sure it really grabs those hairs, and once we position them, they're not going to move. Very softly position them back to where you actually want them to sit. Okay, now I know they look funny, but they're not going to stay like that. We're going to shape them to perfection. We're going to grab our concealer. This is our MODELROCK new range, which hasn't come out yet. Our concealers come out in about a month, so I'll definitely keep you guys updated. This is in shade number 3, and we're going to use this to carve our brows. Leave that gap underneath as usual. Right, now I'm going to go with our MODELROCK concealer, but in shade number 7. And this one I'm almost out of because it's one of my main colors that always suits me, both for my brows and under my eyes. That's the difference in the shade. Mind you, these concealers are full coverage, which I'm so excited. Matte and full coverage. I like to always put the brush to the side just to give me like more precision, and then join it at the end like that. Now, I've already got moisturizer on. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. We're going to put the concealer in the center of the forehead like this. We're also going to grab only the deeper shade in number 7. We're going to put it all over our lid. So we don't want the light shade. The light shade was to highlight the brow bone. But now we want the deeper shade on all over the eyelid because we are working with darker colors and it is going to be a deep smoky eye. And also we're going to bring it in the middle of our nose. And I'm going to grab our buffing brush. This is the MODELROCK brush in number 2. This hasn't been released yet, but I'm hoping they will be released soon. Tapping all that in to make sure it's all blended. This step, you want to make sure the lighter shade under your brows doesn't stand out too much. Have a sip of my coffee. I usually film at night. It's very hard to film at night. You get very tired. So I'm trying to film more in the mornings. Between the brows, you can kind of still see my skin. So then just lightly tap that in like that. Done. I'm going to go in with our new cream contour stick. This is in number 11. I'm going to apply it straight onto my forehead. It's so easy to use. It's creamy, matte, and gives coverage at the same time. And I'm just going to buff that in. I'm quite tan, so I do have to go quite bronzed. The worst thing for me is I don't like when like cream contour and cream blushes, as much as a lot of people like it, but I don't like when the product is like kind of dewy or gives it like a glow, because my skin just doesn't work with that. I get very oily skin. Go back in our cream contour stick. I'm going to use a little fluffy brush. I'm going to use this as our transition shade on our eyelids. Use this to start our nose contour as well. Before we start our actual eyeshadow, we're going to go in with our BENNYE bronzing loose powder. This is in shade topaz, and then all we're going to do is kind of tap it onto our eyelid. The reason why I don't like using like a light translucent powder is because sometimes it can look a little bit like dull or like cool undertone, a bit grey. See how this looks nice and warm and this one's still cool tone? That's what we want to do. Again, on our other eye. I'm going to go in with the Mario palette. This has the cool tones and the grey. So with this really small fluffy brush first, I give it this grey kind of colour right here. So you want to focus this just on the outer V here. A little bit in your crease. You don't want to bring it too high towards the brow bone, and then we don't want to bring it too out towards the temples. And don't be scared to grab quite a bit of eyeshadow. You want it to show on camera as well. With a loose eyeshadow brush, we lightly diffuse the edges to make sure there's no harsh lines. With this eye, it's always a little bit more complicated for me because it's semi-hooded while this one is not. Next up, I'm going to go in with the dark brown. Following the exact same steps over that grey, we're going to add this darker shade. I'm focusing more on the outer corner first, and then I'll bring it in. I'm back in with our fluffy brush and diffusing. I apply a little bit of concealer on the front half of my eyelid, just here. Dabbing that in. I'm not putting a lot. As you can see, it's a very sheer amount, and you can kind of see that dark eyeshadow underneath, which is what I want. The third shade in this palette, lightly dab over that. Blend in the two shades together. Use the black shade in the palette. We're gonna focus right on the outer corner right here, just to darken it a little bit more. I'm gonna go with our Rimmel by Jihan black pencil. I'm just gonna smudge it into my upper waterline like this. A little fine brush. I'm gonna grab the black shadow and then I'm gonna set it and smudge it out with the black shadow. Dark and prominent. This is what we want. And I stretch the eye as I do this bit. Do it in my waterline, and you'll see how dark this line is. Waterline. Oh! Just smudge it out now because it's gonna give me anxiety. We can work with that. All right. Now also we're gonna smoke out on the tight line of the lower lash line. Fill in my eyebrows slightly. We're gonna use the Snatch 5.0. Now I've done my moisturizer already. I use the Embroilis moisturizer. I'm gonna go with the lighter concealer first. This is in number 3. Now because we have shadow already under our eyes, you wanna kind of stay away from the eyeshadow so we don't mix the colors together and your under eyes don't go gray. And then with a flat brush, I'm just gonna dab this in. Cream contour stick in number 11, and following from the top of our ear to the corner of our lip. I'm going to do the contour on the jawline as well. Lightly dab that in. For foundation, I'm going to mix Huda Beauty and NARS again because it's my favorite mix. So putting the foundation under here, then lightly bring that down. On the other side, bring that down. 2 dots under our eyes, on our nose. I'm going to start with under our cheekbone contour. You know, to be honest, it's a little bit too light. I'm not happy with this color, so I'm just gonna dab under our eyes lightly. Okay, I'm not 100% happy with the color I chose. I think I mixed too much of the NARS. So it looks a little bit too light, but that's all right. We're gonna do extra bronze. Bring back a little bit. Use our cream blush number 5 to give it a bit of color. And then we'll blend again to make sure everything's nice and seamless before we set our face. And lightly pressing in the baking powder. Now for my lip liner, I'm going to go with Chestnut by MAC first. Shade in the outer edges as well. Now I'm going to go in with one of my favorite shades that we have in our store, which is Latte Love by MODELROCK. And this is what I like to use to blend the chestnut in the center of my lips. Just going to carve my lip. A little bit of our BENNYE powder all over the face. So this is everywhere, even around under our cheekbones, because we went too light with our foundation. The good thing is this always looks so smooth and airbrushed on the face. You can already see that this side is a lot more bronze. The BENNYE bronzing palette, mix all the colors. We'll start with our cheekbones, so just dabbing in on the apples of my cheek and up. This shade is called I'm Gorgeous, and I mixed it with I'm Cute. On the apples of my cheek, just right here, a little bit here. The darker lip liner again because it was washing me out a little bit. I'm gonna go over one more time with the lip liner, just so it looks a little bit more plump. And I think I'm done. Let's zoom you out so we can see the finished look. I hope you enjoyed learning this smoky eye look. I love the way it turned out, and hopefully you guys learned something new. I will see you guys in my next video.